Introduction. Some people ask me why an ordinary working stiff would care so much about the economy, besides the fact that my 401k went down the black hole of Wall Street, along with all yours, I'm sure. But actually, I'm mad as hell. Just look at these all too familiar headlines. So in the left column you have bumper crop of banker bonuses. In the right-hand column, above, state faces nothing but bad choices. How's that for a contrast? Boo. And then we have cuts, and more cuts. So I'm so enraged by the current situation in this country, by the fact that after 1.5 years since the financial collapse, we now have an even smaller oligarchy of 6 banks controlling 63% of our GDP. Too big to jail, right? So this article, The Quiet Coup that was the headliner in Atlantic Magazine a year ago, by Simon Johnson, is one of the things that got me interested in this. He describes the financial oligarchy as that moneyed force that has taken over our political system. Highly recommended reading, and I have extra copies if you like. You know, in the 60s, many of us marched. In Seattle, we could get 20 to 30,000 people overnight on the streets. We held teach-ins all day sometimes, packed with thousands of people. Created alternative media, came up with alternative energy solutions, worked on political campaigns, all around the issues of peace, environment, civil rights, and liberties. In my opinion, the primary thread underlying all of this was one thing: economic justice. And what exactly was the return on that investment? We got Nixon, the Southern Strategy, Reagan, Alan Greenspan, 30 years of tax breaks for the rich, trickle-up voodoo economics, corporate deregulation, the end of usury laws leading to unlimited interest rates, union busting, the biggest income inequality since the Gilded Era. Yeah. Right now, 1% of the top income earners takes home 23% of our collective income. Wages declining in spite of soaring worker productivity, our jobs outsourced, highly funded think tanks that convinced us that what was good for Wall Street was good for Main Street. We got Bush 1 and 2, chronic wars, and new jails instead of peace and education. Our manufacturing base replaced by the financial services industry. And the most outrageous insult of them all, Citizens United, the Supreme Court ruling that allows corporations unlimited access to our political system. What we have become is a nation of disposable people, and we are all disposable. So someone also asked me if this event was about the whole corporatocracy, and I would say that is somewhat outside the scope of today. But consider that the financial services industry has poured more billions into lobbying this year than even the oil and gas industries. And you'll see they are a huge chunk of that corporatocracy. So one more item, I'd like to point out your handouts that were given out there, which offer action items that we the people can do. Even Maria Cantwell, in her email about casino capitalism, said that we need a mass movement to make financial reform happen. No politician can do it alone. You can see that part highlighted in her letter. Probably some of you got that email. It was bulk. It wasn't to me personally. So. And she's actually been very good on financial reform issues. Beyond reform, what I'm suggesting today is that we need restructure of our financial services industry, beginning with breaking up the largest monopolies. You can start by informing yourself, then take action. Legislatively, supporting the Jankowski Amendment and other worthwhile financial reform bills. And there is in your handout an article that just came out on what the essentials of financial reform look like. And it's not the basic package, I tell you, that's in the Senate. It's mostly in those amendments. I think it crashed again. Thank goodness for Fairmin. Oh, okay. Well, he's waiting. We're almost there, actually. I want to talk a little bit about the Move Your Money campaign, which is put on by the Huffington Post in A New Way Forward. It's about moving your money from national banks to local and nonprofit banks. And you can look them up online, and it's also in your handout. Let's see. Support the Fair Elections Now Act, public financing of elections, get the big money out. That's also in your handout. Move to amend the Constitution against corporate personhood. Also in your handout, there's an online petition. You can join A New Way Forward, both online and locally. Let's see. I think we're going back to that slide, but that's the next one. Yeah. That's in your handout, and there you can connect online nationally, and my phone number and email are in the handout. I'll be out of town for a couple weeks, but if you want to contact me, I will get back in touch with you ASAP because I would love to have more members. And I heartily endorse the other progressive organizations that have co-sponsored today. So, read, blog, participate. For the question and answer part of the program, we'll have representatives of the following groups handing out mics, although we're down to only 2 mics, so it'll be rationed. These are just some of the people who work hard to give us voice in our community, and they would appreciate volunteers also. Ellen McDermott from BellinghamMoveOn.org, she's over there. We have Eileen Satushik, United for National Health Care. Eileen, thank you. Jean Marks, Veterans for Peace. Andrew Davis, Jobs with Justice. And Marie Marchand, welcome. Peace and Justice, which is seeking to end war as a growth industry and for economic and social justice for veterans. So now, to the best part. I'm wondering if any of you have heard this old gospel song, Maybe God is Trying to Tell You Something? Well, 1 year ago, when I heard Simon Johnson on 3 public radio shows, saw him on Bill Moyers, and read his article, The Quiet Coup, in Atlantic Magazine, I said to my husband, you know, I think Simon is trying to tell us something. That prompted me to take on the local ANWEF chapter and start reading his blog, The Baseline Scenario. And I tell you, for an economics blog, it's very understandable, and I highly recommend it. Dr. Johnson is Ronald Kurtz Professor of Entrepreneurship at MIT's Sloan School of Management and former chief economist of the IMF. His new book, 13 Bankers, The Wall Street Takeover and the Next Financial Meltdown, is currently on the New York Times bestseller list. So, and it's on sale out in the hall. So, please welcome him at this time. He'll do a talk